What happens when a royal guest walks onto one of daytime television's most watched stages and completely loses control in front of millions of viewers? It only took one comment about privilege for Meghan Markle to unravel on The View, turning what should have been a friendly chat into an absolute disaster that ended with security escorting her out of the building. The View studio was buzzing that morning. The audience settled into their seats, completely unaware they were about to witness something nobody could have predicted. Sunny Hostin sat at the table, prepared with her notes and questions, ready for what she thought would be a standard celebrity interview. Meghan Markle walked out to applause, waving and smiling like everything was perfectly normal. But nothing about this interview would be normal. But the first few minutes went exactly as planned. Sunny welcomed Meghan warmly, asking about her recent projects and charitable work. Meghan answered with practiced grace, her responses polished and rehearsed. The audience clapped at all the right moments. Everything seemed fine. Too fine, actually. There was a tension in the air that nobody could quite name yet. "So, let's talk about your latest venture," Sunny said, glancing at her notes. "You've been working on several different projects. Can you tell us about those?" Meghan smiled. That same practiced smile she'd perfected over years of public appearances. "Of course, I'm really excited about the work we're doing. It's all about empowerment and giving people a voice." "That's wonderful," Sunny said. "And you're doing this through various media platforms?" "Yes," Meghan replied. "I believe in using every tool available to reach people and make a difference." The audience applauded politely. Everything was going smoothly, almost too smoothly. "You've certainly been very visible lately," Sunny continued, her tone still friendly. "Multiple interviews, appearances, content releases." Something flickered across Meghan's face. "Just for a second." "Well, yes. When you have a message, you need to share it." "Absolutely," Sunny agreed. "Though I'm curious about something." Then Sunny asked the question that changed everything. "You've spoken a lot about wanting privacy and stepping back from public life," Sunny said, her tone friendly but direct. "But you've also done multiple interviews, a documentary series, a podcast, and written a book. Some people find that contradictory. How do you respond to that criticism?" The smile on Meghan's face froze. For just a second, you could see something shift in her expression. The audience went quiet, sensing the change in energy. "Well, Sunny," Meghan said, her voice tight, "I think that's a very reductive way of looking at my situation." "I'm not trying to be reductive," Sunny replied calmly. "I'm asking, because it's what a lot of people are genuinely wondering about. You've talked extensively about wanting to live a more private life, but at the same time, you've been quite public with your story." "There's a difference between privacy and silence," Meghan said, her tone sharpening. "I have a right to tell my side of things." "Of course you do," Sunny acknowledged. "Nobody's questioning your right to speak, but you can see how some people might find it confusing. Right? You say you want privacy, but you're constantly in the media." Meghan shifted in her seat, her body language becoming more defensive. "Those are two completely different things, Sunny. Wanting privacy in my personal life doesn't mean I have to stay silent about injustices." "I understand that distinction," Sunny said. "But where's the line? When does sharing your story become the opposite of seeking privacy?" "The line," Meghan said, her voice rising slightly, "is wherever I decide it is. It's my life. It's my story." The audience sensed the temperature in the room changing. A few people shifted uncomfortably in their seats. "Absolutely, it's your story," Sunny agreed, keeping her voice level. "But you're also a public figure who has monetized that story through various deals and platforms. That opens you up to questions." "Monetized," Meghan repeated, letting the word hang in the air. "Is that what you think this is about? Money?" "A lot of people," Meghan repeated, letting out a sharp laugh. "You mean people who've never experienced what I've been through? People who've never had every single moment of their lives dissected and criticized?" Sunny maintained her composure, her years of legal training and television experience keeping her steady. I understand you've been through difficult experiences. But my question is about the apparent contradiction between wanting privacy while actively seeking the spotlight. That's when Meghan's voice rose. Seeking the spotlight? She said, leaning forward in her chair. I'm telling my truth, Sonny. I'm using my voice. That's not seeking the spotlight. But that's called having agency over my own narrative. Of course you have every right to tell your story, Sonny said, keeping her tone measured. But you have to understand why some people see it differently. Some people, Meghan said again, her voice dripping with disdain. You keep saying some people. Why don't you just say what you really mean? You think I'm a liar. You think I'm making things up for attention. The audience gasped. This was escalating fast. I never said that, Sonny responded firmly. And I would never say that. I'm asking you to address legitimate questions that viewers have. That's my job as a journalist. I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to have a real conversation. A real conversation, Meghan said, her eyes flashing. This doesn't feel like a real conversation. This feels like an interrogation. Asking follow-up questions is not an interrogation, Sonny said, her patience clearly being tested, but still holding strong. It's journalism. It's what happens in interviews. I ask questions. You answer them. That's how this works. Oh, I know how it works, Meghan said bitterly. I've been doing interviews for years, and I can tell when someone has an agenda. My only agenda, Sonny said carefully, is to ask the questions that our audience wants answered. That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less. Your audience, Meghan said with a dismissive wave. Your audience doesn't know me. They don't know what I've been through. Then help them understand, Sonny said, leaning forward. That's why you're here, right? To help people understand your perspective? I shouldn't have to defend myself to you, Meghan said. I shouldn't have to defend my choices to anyone. Nobody's asking you to defend anything, Sonny said, her voice taking on a slight edge. We're asking you to explain. There's a difference. Is there? Meghan challenged. Because it doesn't feel different to me. Your job, Meghan said, shaking her head. Your job is to sit here and tear me down on national television? To make me look bad in front of all these people? My job is to ask questions, Sonny said, her patience clearly being tested, but still holding strong. If you find the questions uncomfortable, perhaps that's something to reflect on. Meghan's eyes widened. Reflect on? Are you seriously sitting there, lecturing me about what I need to reflect on? You who knows nothing about my life, nothing about what I deal with every single day. I'm not lecturing you, Sonny said evenly. I'm making an observation. When someone gets defensive over reasonable questions, it usually means something deeper is going on. Defensive, Meghan said, her voice getting louder. You think I'm being defensive? Maybe I'm just tired of being treated like this. Maybe I'm tired of everyone thinking they have a right to pick apart every decision I make. You put yourself in the public eye, Sonny said, and there was steel in her voice now. You signed deals. You did interviews. You wrote a book. You can't have it both ways, Meghan. You can't court the spotlight and then complain when people have questions. Court the spotlight, Meghan repeated, standing up so suddenly her chair scraped loudly against the floor. Is that what you think I'm doing? Courting the spotlight? Meghan's face flushed red. Reflect on? Are you seriously sitting there telling me what I need to reflect on? Do you have any idea what I've sacrificed? What I've given up? I'm sure you've made sacrifices, Sonny said. Many people make sacrifices. That doesn't mean you're above being asked questions. Many people, Meghan repeated mockingly. Many people don't get chased by photographers. Many people don't have lies written about them every single day. Many people don't have to worry about their safety and their children's safety. You're absolutely right, Sonny acknowledged, and I'm sorry you've experienced that. But that still doesn't answer the question about privacy versus public exposure. Meghan stood up suddenly, her microphone making a loud scraping sound. The audience jumped. "I don't have to sit here and take this," she said, her voice shaking with anger. "Take what?" Sunny asked, genuinely confused. "I'm asking you questions. This is an interview." "This is an attack," Meghan shot back. "This is exactly the kind of treatment I left everything to escape from." "Meghan, please sit down," Sunny said, her voice still calm, but firmer now. "Nobody is attacking you." "Don't tell me what to do," Meghan snapped. "You don't get to tell me what to do." The other hosts looked at each other, unsure whether to intervene. The producers in the control room were frantically trying to decide whether to cut to commercial. The audience sat frozen and watching this train wreck unfold in real time. "I'm not telling you what to do," Sunny said, her professionalism never wavering. "I'm asking you to have a conversation like an adult." That word, adult, seemed to push Meghan over the edge. "Like an adult?" she said, her voice getting louder. "You want to talk to me about being an adult? You sit here day after day, judging people, tearing them down, acting like you're so much better than everyone else. And you want to lecture me about being an adult?" "I don't think I'm better than anyone," Sunny said, and for the first time, you could hear a real edge in her voice. "But I do think that when someone comes on a talk show, they should be prepared to answer questions without having a meltdown." "A meltdown," Meghan said, her voice dripping with contempt. "That's what you're calling this? I'm standing up for myself. I'm refusing to be bullied by you." "Bullied?" Sunny said, her voice rising to match Meghan's volume. "Asking you questions is not bullying. Expecting you to have a civil conversation is not bullying. You throwing a tantrum because you don't like what I'm asking, that's what's actually happening here." "Don't you dare call this a tantrum," Meghan said, pointing her finger at Sunny. "Don't you dare minimize my feelings like that." "I'm not minimizing your feelings," Sunny said, standing up now too. "I'm calling out your behavior. There's a difference. And right now, your behavior is completely unacceptable." "Unacceptable?" Meghan laughed, but there was no humor in it. "My behavior is unacceptable? What about yours? What about the way you've been treating me since I sat down?" "I've treated you with nothing but respect," Sunny said firmly. "I welcomed you warmly. I asked thoughtful questions. I gave you every opportunity to share your perspective. And you've responded with hostility from the moment I asked anything remotely challenging." "Respect?" Meghan laughed bitterly. "This is your idea of respect? Ambushing me with gotcha questions?" "These aren't gotcha questions," Sunny said, raising her voice slightly to match Meghan's energy. "These are questions that anyone with a platform would be asked. You're not special just because you married into royalty." The studio went dead silent. That line landed like a bomb. Meghan's mouth fell open. "Excuse me." "You heard me," Sunny said, and now she was standing too. "You want to be treated like everyone else? Fine. Then answer questions like everyone else. Don't hide behind your title and your trauma every time someone challenges you." "How dare you?" Meghan said, her voice low and dangerous. "How dare you speak to me like that?" "How dare I?" Sunny said, incredulous. "You've been disrespectful since the moment I asked you a simple question. I've been nothing but professional, and you've responded with hostility and insults." "You have no idea what professional means," Meghan said. "A real professional would understand what I've been through. A real professional would have compassion." "Compassion doesn't mean not asking difficult questions," Sunny replied. "And frankly, your behavior right now is proving exactly what critics have said about you. That you can't handle any pushback. That you think you're above criticism." Meghan's hands were shaking. "I want your producers out here right now. I want everyone to see how I'm being treated." "The producers can see everything," Sunny said, gesturing to the cameras. "So can millions of viewers. And what they're seeing is someone who came on this show and turned it into a circus because she didn't like being asked basic questions." "Basic questions," Meghan scoffed. "You call that basic? You were trying to trap me. You were trying to make me look bad." "You're making yourself look bad," Sunny said bluntly. I'm just sitting here doing my job. One of the producers finally rushed onto the stage, trying to de-escalate the situation. Ladies, let's take a breath here. Don't tell me to take a breath, Meghan said, spinning to face the producer. She's been attacking me this entire time, and you're going to stand there and act like this is okay? Nobody's been attacking anyone, the producer said gently. Maybe we should take a quick break. I don't want a break, Meghan said. I want an apology. From her. She pointed at Sunny. Sunny crossed her arms. I'm not apologizing for doing my job. Your job is to bully people? Meghan asked. My job is to ask questions that the public wants answered, Sunny said. If you can't handle that, you shouldn't have agreed to come on the show. Maybe I shouldn't have, Meghan said. Clearly, this was a mistake. Clearly, you had an agenda from the start. The only agenda I have is to have honest conversations, Sunny said. But you can't have an honest conversation with someone who thinks they're above being questioned. I'm not above anything, Meghan said, her voice cracking slightly. I'm a human being who deserves respect. And I'm a journalist who deserves to do her job without being screamed at, Sunny countered. The producer tried again. Meghan, why don't we go backstage for a moment? Why should I go backstage? Meghan demanded. She's the one who should leave. She's the one who ruined this interview. I ruined it, Sunny said, laughing without humor. You've been combative from the moment I asked you about privacy. You escalated this, not me. Because you were being unfair, Meghan insisted. How was I being unfair? Sunny asked. By asking you to explain your choices? That's what happens in interviews, Meghan. People ask questions. You answer them. That's how this works. Not when the questions are designed to make me look like a hypocrite, Meghan said. If you feel like a hypocrite, maybe that's because there's some truth to the criticism, Sunny said quietly. That was it. That was the final straw. Meghan grabbed her purse from beside her chair. I'm done. I'm leaving. And you can tell your viewers that this is what you do to people. This is how you treat your guests. I treat my guests fairly, Sunny said. But when they come on my show and act like you're acting, I'm not going to pretend it's okay. You're a bully, Meghan said, her voice breaking. You're a bully with a platform, and that makes you dangerous. And you're someone who can't handle being held accountable, Sunny replied. That makes you immature. The audience was completely silent, so watching this back and forth like a tennis match. Nobody knew what to do. Nobody knew how to react. Meghan started walking toward the exit, her heels clicking loudly on the stage floor. But then she turned back. You know what? She said, pointing at Sunny. You're going to regret this. Everyone's going to see this, and they're going to see how you treated me. Good, Sunny said. Let them see. Let them see exactly what happened here. Let them see that I asked fair questions, and you couldn't handle it. Fair? Meghan laughed. There was nothing fair about this. Then let the audience decide, Sunny said, spreading her arms wide. Let America watch this footage and decide who was out of line. Meghan looked around at the audience, as if expecting them to support her, but they sat silent, uncertain. That seemed to anger her even more. You're all the same, she said to the room. You all just want to see me fail. You want to tear me down because you can't stand to see someone be successful and happy. Nobody wants to see you fail, Sunny said, her voice softer now. But people also don't want to watch you play the victim every time someone asks you a tough question. I'm not playing anything, Meghan said, tears in her eyes now. This is my life. These are my experiences, and you're sitting there minimizing them. I'm not minimizing them, Sunny said. I'm contextualizing them. There's a difference. No, Meghan said, shaking her head. There's no difference to someone like you. You've already made up your mind about me. This whole interview was just a setup to humiliate me on television. If you truly believe that, Sunny said, then you're more paranoid than I thought. Meghan let out a sound that was half laugh, half sob. Paranoid. That's what they always say. When you tell the truth, when you speak up, they call you paranoid or crazy or difficult. Nobody called you crazy, Sonny said. But difficult? You're being difficult right now. Extremely difficult. Because I won't let you walk all over me, Meghan asked. Because you won't have a normal conversation, Sonny said, exasperated. This could have been a good interview. We could have talked about your work, your projects, your future plans. But instead, you turned it into this drama because you couldn't handle one challenging question. One question? Meghan said incredulously. You've been attacking me from the start. No, I haven't, Sonny said firmly. But you keep saying that because it fits your narrative. You need to be the victim. You need everyone to feel sorry for you. I don't need anything from you, Meghan said coldly. Good, Sonny said, because you're not getting an apology. You're not getting sympathy. What you're getting is held accountable for your behavior. Another producer came onto the stage, this one more senior. Meghan, I think it's best if we end this now. You're kicking me out? Meghan asked, looking genuinely shocked. We're asking you to leave. Yes, the producer said carefully. This situation has become unmanageable. Unmanageable, Meghan repeated, looking back at Sonny. See? This is what you wanted. You wanted me gone. I wanted a conversation, Sonny said tiredly. But you made that impossible. I made it impossible, Meghan said, shaking her head in disbelief. You people are unbelievable. We need you to leave now, the senior producer said, more firmly this time. Security guards appeared at the edge of the stage. Not threatening, just present. A clear message. Meghan looked at them, then back at Sonny, then at the audience. This is what happens, she said, her voice theatrical now. This is what happens when you tell the truth, when you stand up for yourself. They silence you. Nobody's silencing you, Sonny said. We're asking you to leave because you're disrupting the show and being disrespectful to everyone here. Disrespectful, Meghan said, her voice rising again. I'm disrespectful? Look in the mirror, Sonny. I have, Sonny said calmly. And I'm comfortable with how I've conducted myself today. Can you say the same? Meghan didn't answer. Instead, she turned and walked toward the exit, the security guards following at a respectful distance. But she couldn't resist one final parting shot. She stopped at the edge of the stage and turned back to face Sonny and the cameras. History will remember this moment, she said dramatically. History will show who was really in the wrong here. History will show the footage, Sonny said simply, and the footage doesn't lie. With that, Meghan turned and walked off the stage. The heavy door closed behind her with a loud thud. The studio remained silent for a long moment. Sonny stood at the table, taking a deep breath. The audience didn't know whether to clap or stay silent. Eventually, a few people started applauding, Ian tentatively at first, then growing louder. They were applauding Sonny, applauding her for standing her ground. Sonny sat back down, visibly shaken, but trying to maintain her composure. Well, she said into the camera, that was unexpected. The other hosts finally spoke up, offering support and trying to lighten the mood. But everyone knew what had just happened. Everyone knew they had witnessed something that would be talked about for days, weeks, maybe even years. Sitting at that table, Sonny Hostin had done something remarkable. She had stood up to someone who expected special treatment. She had refused to back down when confronted with tears and accusations. She had asked questions. She had done her job. And Meghan Markle had shown everyone what happens when she doesn't get her way. She had proven every critic right. The cameras kept rolling as The View went to commercial break. Sonny sat at the table, looking tired. When the show came back, they moved on to other topics, but nobody was paying attention. Everyone was still processing what they had seen. It was a moment that captured the collision between entitlement and reality. Sonny Hostin had emerged as the clear winner, not because she was cruel, but because she refused to play along. She treated Meghan like any other guest. That's what made her the hero of this story. Simple, unwavering professionalism.